In Tokyo right now, a 6-year-old girl is boarding a subway train, alone. No parents, no guardian, just her backpack and a small card around her neck. She'll transfer trains twice, walk 4 blocks, and arrive at school 15 minutes later, by herself. In America, her parents would be arrested for child endangerment. By age 7, 90% of Japanese children walk to school independently. In America, only 9% of 12-year-olds do the same. Japanese 6-year-olds have more freedom than American 12-year-olds. This isn't about culture. This isn't about safety statistics. This is about a systematic approach to building independence that Japanese parents start at age 3. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to replicate it, even if you live in suburban America. Because what we're doing isn't protecting our children, it's crippling them. Segment 1. The American Independence Crisis. Let's start with some uncomfortable data. In 1971, 80% of American 7 and 8-year-olds walked to school alone. Today, that number is 13%. The average age an American child is first allowed to play outside unsupervised is 10 years old. In the 1970s, it was 5. American teenagers today have less independence than 8-year-olds had 50 years ago. And here's what should terrify you. This isn't making kids safer. It's making them more anxious, less capable, and completely unprepared for adulthood. A 2023 study from the University of Michigan found that American children who were never allowed independent mobility showed 67% higher rates of anxiety disorders by age 15. College administrators report that incoming freshmen can't do laundry, can't navigate a bus system, can't solve basic problems without calling their parents. We call this helicopter parenting, but it's more accurate to call it what it is: learned helplessness on a generational scale. Now contrast that with Japan. Japanese children at age 6 can navigate complex subway systems, cross busy intersections, buy groceries, and handle emergencies. Not because they're smarter or because Japanese streets are magically safer, but because they've been systematically trained for independence since they were toddlers. There's even a television show in Japan called Hajimete no Otsukai, which translates to My First Errand. It's been running since 1991. The premise? Film young children, some as young as 2 years old, running their first solo errand. Buying groceries, delivering items to neighbors, crossing streets. 30 years on television, millions of viewers, 0 children harmed. When Americans watch this show, they're horrified. When Japanese watch it, they're nostalgic. So what's the difference? Segment 2. The stranger danger myth. Before we get to what Japanese parents do right, we need to understand what American parents get catastrophically wrong: the stranger danger panic. In 1984, the faces of missing children started appearing on milk cartons across America. The media called it an epidemic. Experts said stranger abduction was the greatest threat to children. It was a lie. According to the Department of Justice, the actual number of stereotypical kidnappings by strangers in America is approximately 100 per year. Out of 74 million children, you have a higher chance of being struck by lightning than your child has of being abducted by a stranger. 90% of abductions involve a family member or known acquaintance, situations where a parent being present wouldn't prevent the crime anyway. And yet, we've restructured our entire parenting philosophy around a threat that barely exists. Meanwhile, the real threats to children, obesity, anxiety, depression, lack of basic life skills, have skyrocketed because we've locked kids indoors, driven them everywhere, and eliminated every opportunity for independent problem solving. Japan has 1/3 the crime rate of the United States. But even when you adjust for that, Japanese parents in high-crime areas still give their children significantly more independence than American parents in the safest suburbs. Because they understand something we've forgotten. The goal of parenting isn't to eliminate every possible risk. It's to teach children how to assess and manage risk themselves. which brings us to how they actually do it. Segment 3. The Japanese Independence System. Japanese independence training doesn't start at age 6. It starts at age 3, and it follows a specific, systematic progression that any parent can replicate. Phase 1. Ages 3 to 4. Environmental awareness. This is where it begins. Japanese parents teach situational awareness through structured observation. They walk the same route to the grocery store or park repeatedly, but they don't just walk, they narrate. See, that blue mailbox? That's our landmark. If you ever get lost, look for the blue mailbox.
This is a pedestrian crossing. We always stop here, look left, then right, then left again. That woman in the green apron works at the vegetable stand. She knows our family. If you need help, you can ask her. They're building a mental map, teaching the child to identify safe adults, shopkeepers, postal workers, elderly neighbors, creating what Japanese culture calls community eyes, the network of trusted adults who collectively watch over neighborhood children. American parents do the opposite. We teach children that all strangers are dangerous. Japanese parents teach children how to identify safe strangers. Phase 2. Ages 4 to 5. Supervised solo tasks. By age 4, Japanese children begin doing small tasks independently, but within sight of the parent. Walk to the end of the aisle in the grocery store and bring back a carton of milk. Parent watches from 20 feet away.
Take the trash to the bin outside the apartment. Parent watches from the window. Order their own food at a restaurant. Parent sits at the same table but doesn't intervene. This is critical. The parent is present but not helping. The child experiences independence, while the parent experiences letting go. American parents struggle with this phase because we can't tolerate the discomfort. When our 4-year-old hesitates at the grocery aisle, we jump in. When they struggle to count money at the cashier, we take over. Japanese parents sit with the discomfort. They let the child struggle. They let the child make mistakes. Because the mistakes at age 4, bringing back the wrong milk, dropping coins, are low stakes. The lessons learned are permanent. Phase 3. Ages 5 to 6. The first solo errand. This is the Hajimete no Otsukai moment, the child's first completely independent task. In Japan, this typically means walking 2 to 3 blocks to a local shop to buy a specific item. The parent gives clear instructions, practices the route multiple times together, and then sends the child alone. Here's what makes this work. First, the route has been practiced 10 to 15 times with the parent. The child knows every turn, every landmark, every potential hazard. Second, the shopkeeper knows the child is coming. Japanese neighborhood culture means the parent has informed the store owner, "My daughter will come buy bread this Saturday. She's doing her first errand." Third, the task has a clear objective and time limit. Buy 1 loaf of bread, come straight home, you have 20 minutes. Fourth, and this is crucial, the parent manages their own anxiety. Japanese parenting culture supports this moment. American culture sabotages it. When a Japanese parent says, "My 6-year-old did their first solo errand today," the response is, "Congratulations." When an American parent says that, the response is often horror or a call to Child Protective Services. Phase 4. Ages 6 to 7. Daily independent routines. By 1st grade, Japanese children are walking to school alone or in small groups of children, not adults. They navigate public transportation. They have house keys. They prepare simple meals. They're responsible for their homework without parental supervision. This isn't neglect. It's the culmination of 3 years of systematic training. And here's what the data shows. Japanese children who have this independence show higher academic achievement, lower anxiety, better problem-solving skills, and stronger peer relationships than Japanese children who don't, and vastly better outcomes than American children of the same age. Segment 4. The community structure. Now, I know what you're thinking. This works in Japan because Japanese culture is different, because their neighborhoods are safe, because everyone knows each other. And yes, those things help, but they're not the cause. They're the result. Japanese neighborhoods are safe because children walk through them. Japanese communities are connected because children create those connections. There's a concept in urban planning called eyes on the street. When people, especially children, use public spaces, those spaces become safer. Shopkeepers notice, neighbors notice, community cohesion increases. American suburbs have the opposite design. Everyone drives everywhere. Children are never in public spaces unsupervised, so nobody knows their neighbors. There are no community eyes. And because there are no community eyes, parents feel it's unsafe to let children out unsupervised. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But here's the good news. You can break this cycle in your own neighborhood. Start small. Identify the safe adults on your street. Introduce your child to them. This is Mr. Chen. He's our neighbor. If you ever need help, you can knock on his door. Talk to other parents. Find even one other family willing to try this. Let your kids walk to each other's houses, a distance you can see from your window. Connect with your local shopkeepers. Tell them your child will be coming in to buy something small. Ask if they're willing to be a safe adult your child can turn to. You're recreating the Japanese community structure in miniature. And yes, you'll face judgment. Other parents will question you. Some might even threaten to call authorities. This is where you need to know your rights. In most US states, there is no minimum age for leaving a child unsupervised. The laws say children must not be in situations that create substantial risk of harm, which is subjective and depends on the child's maturity and the circumstances. Organizations like Let Grow and Free Range Kids have legal resources for parents who face CPS investigations for allowing age-appropriate independence. Some states have even passed reasonable childhood independence laws, protecting parents' rights to let children play outside, walk to school, or stay home alone. You're not breaking the law. You're breaking a recent cultural norm that's only existed for 30 years. Segment 5. How to start. Let me give you a practical roadmap you can start this week, regardless of your child's current age. If your child is 3 to 5, start with environmental awareness walks. Same route multiple times. Narrate everything. Build that mental map. Practice safe stranger identification. Point out community helpers, mail carriers, librarians, store employees. Begin supervised solo tasks. Send them to get something from another room, then another floor, then the mailbox while you watch from the door. If your child is 6 to 8, map a safe route they can walk, even if it's just to the neighbor's house 50 feet away. Practice it together 10 times. Then watch from the window while they do it alone. Give them a house key and teach them how to lock and unlock the door. Start a solo Saturday tradition. One small independent task each week. Could be walking the dog around the block, buying a snack at the corner store, riding their bike to the park. If your child is 9 to 12, they're already behind, but it's not too late. Be honest with them. I realize I haven't let you do things I should have. We're going to change that. Start with transportation independence. Teach them the bus system. Walk routes to friends' houses, the library, school. Give them household responsibilities that require problem solving. Cooking a meal once a week. Doing their own laundry. Managing a small budget. Let them make mistakes. This is the hardest part. When they forget something, don't rescue them. When they get lost, coach them through figuring it out. Don't immediately drive to get them. For all ages, document everything. Keep a log of independent activities, skills learned, routes practiced. If you ever face legal scrutiny, this evidence shows you're not neglectful. You're intentionally teaching independence. Connect with other parents doing this. You need a support system because the cultural pressure to helicopter parent is intense. Manage your own anxiety. Your fear is not evidence of danger. Japanese parents feel fear too. They've just learned that teaching independence is more important than eliminating their own discomfort. Here's what this really comes down to. Japanese 6-year-olds aren't more capable than American 6-year-olds because they're Japanese. They're more capable because Japanese parents systematically teach independence, while American parents systematically teach dependence. We've confused protection with preparation. We think keeping our children safe means keeping them close, but we're not keeping them safe. We're keeping them helpless. The average Japanese 18-year-old has 12 years of experience navigating the world independently. The average American 18-year-old has maybe 2. And then we wonder why they struggle in college, can't handle workplace challenges, can't solve basic problems without calling mom and dad. Your child is more capable than you think. The question is, are you brave enough to let them prove it? Start this week. Pick one small thing. One walk they can do alone. One errand they can run. One problem they can solve without you. It will be uncomfortable. You'll want to intervene. Don't, because on the other side of that discomfort is a child who believes in themselves, who can handle challenges, who doesn't need you for every little thing. That's not neglect. That's not dangerous. That's the entire point of parenting. Raising a child who doesn't need you anymore. Japanese parents figured this out. It's time we did too. If this video changed how you think about parenting, subscribe for more methods from around the world that actually work. Next week, we're covering why German schools banned homework and test scores doubled. Your kids are more capable than you think. It's time to let them show you.